Okay, and then finally, proclamation. So Jesus, after he has lived it and walked into somebody's neighborhood, after he's demonstrated it and showed somebody this is how it could impact your life, well, now they have questions they're asking. How did you heal me? How did you heal my daughter? How did you make a difference in my life? How can I not only be saved by you and by your kingdom, but how can I start to live according to your kingdom so you don't have to save me all the time? And that's the power of proclamation.
St. Francis said, "Preach the gospel always. When necessary, use words." There comes a time, always, when it's necessary to use words. A man's friend became a follower of Jesus after many years of him praying for his friend. And he asked his friend, "What took you so long?" And he said, "Well, I watched your life, and I concluded that since you were such a good person, it was possible to be a good person without being a Christian." The man had never explained to his friend about his relationship with Christ. It's always necessary to explain the power that's at work within us, and that the love doesn't come from us, but it comes from God. It's necessary both to give him glory, and so that those who watch our lives understand that they too can have that relationship with him.
The person I think of in terms of proclamation, and I don't think this person would think of themselves for proclamation that much, but my mom, Kathy, I think her ability for long-form relationship with somebody that would manifest itself over years, where it isn't rushing to say, hey, you need to change your life because Jesus died for you and there's a better way that you could be living, and the ways that you're living are leading you to dying. But she would know you for a long time, and she would make her life visible. And I think of how she did it with our neighbors. There's the famous story of where she got to know our neighbor in San Antonio for so long. And our neighbor really actually grew to admire my mom, but was really ashamed of the fact that she was sleeping with random men. And so she one day was trying to avoid being seen by my mom, so she was sneaking through these hedges to try to get in the front door, and my mom opened the door, and there she was just standing in the middle of a hedge. And my mom said, "How long will you give your heart away to men who don't love you?" And it just led to, first off, that girl slammed the door and was so upset that my mom said that. But then the next night, it led to that girl giving her life to Jesus. It's these long form, playing it for the long game commitments that then lead to the satisfaction of seeing somebody give their life to the Lord.
Sometimes you end up in conversations with a young person, and what needs to be said is truth, because a lot of what traps them is just the lies of the enemy or their ways that they thought. It's kind of like they're in a jail cell. And so then when you actually say the truth and say, Jesus is the only one who could save you, we could pray together and cry out for his help. And then when they hear it for the first time, then it's like breaking out of a jail cell. And that happened with me. I think part of it was at some point I had to share my story, and then people could speak truth into it very clearly in a way that I haven't heard before, but it was still proclaiming his kingdom, and that changed everything.